All right, we are continuing with our budgeting tools this week. If we were in class, we would be playing a little game of life, not necessarily the board game, but we would be doing this a little bit differently in class, but we're going to make the most of our online togetherness. So what you're going to do is you should, at this point, have a budget where it says over under is $0, our zero-based budget. And we're going to keep operating under this goal of making over under equals 0. So you can see I've updated mine from the template I gave you. I put in a monthly salary that I think is pretty reasonable for if I was going to be living in the States and working here. I kind of used what I had before I moved to Nicaragua. So these are, I kind of put some numbers in here just to get an estimate. And I did add a couple things. I said, you know what, dining out is really important to me. I like being able to go out and have a nice meal. I like being able to go to the movies. So I did add some of those columns in there. And when I do the monthly salary minus my totals take, you can see here in this that it's adding up all of these expenses. And then my over-under is taking the salary minus the expenses, or the income minus expenses. But now we're going to make some changes. So from here on out, follow these steps. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to put a row above this. And I'm going to call this month 0, which sounds silly, but basically it's our starting point. We did a month where we made our salary or our budget, and we are like, all right, we have a zero-based budget. But now it's time for month 1. In this week, each day of the week is going to count as a new month. So today is month 1. And I am going to give you a change each day to your budget. Some will be good things, like maybe you get a bonus, or maybe you return somebody's lost dog and you get a reward for it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Some of them might be not so good things, like your car breaks down, or you get a parking ticket. Or maybe your dog runs away and you have to pay a shelter fee. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And so in Google Classroom, I'll give you your challenge of the day, whether it's a good challenge or a bad challenge. And so what you'll have to do is, I'll tell you right now, your challenge for today is that you need to create a savings account. Or you need to create a place where every month a certain amount of money is going, because this is one of the most important things about budgeting, is that your money should not just automatically being spent. Some of it needs to go in a savings account. So I'm going to add a row up here. I'm going to put savings. And so notice I didn't have a savings here in month 0. I wasn't really accounting for that, but I am having to account for it now. So my monthly salary has not changed, so I'm going to copy that and paste it over here. And then I'm actually just going to copy all these things, and I'm going to paste them over here, and I'm going to see what happens. For my savings, your savings should be 10% of your income. Oh no, that's typing. Sorry, hold on just one second. Your savings, sorry, the general rule of thumb is 10% for tithing. For savings, it's 20%. So rather than using a calculator, you can actually use a spreadsheet to do this calculation for you. So follow these steps. You're going to put equals, and then you're going to click your income, and you're going to multiply it by 25% or 20%, excuse me, but 20% as a decimal is 0.2. So this is calculating for me that savings should be 450. Now, if I change this, let's say all of a sudden I start making $3,000, notice that that goes up to 600, okay? So I'm going to say, nope, my savings stays the same. You're going to have to change this total here. What this is doing is it says take the sum of C, but it's starting at C7, so I need to change that to C6. So you can see here that now all of a sudden it's saying, oh, I am over budget. I am spending more than I make. So we need to get that back to a 0 budget. So after I've calculated my savings, I'm going to go through here and see what are some areas that I can afford to cut back on. Well, I can afford to pay a little bit less in rent. That's getting me a pretty nice apartment for the area that I'm in. I can probably cut that back to, I can do $600. Food, do I really need to spend $350 on food and $150 on dining out? For just me, that seems a little bit much. So let me change that to, I can do $200. So it looks like I've got $100 less. You know what? I don't really need cable. I've got Netflix, I've got Hulu and all these streaming things, so I don't need to spend all that money on cable. So cell phone and maybe some of those, maybe I can cut that back to 60. Oops, not 600. Just kidding. There we go. Transportation, that's getting me a really nice car payment. Maybe I get a slightly less important or nice looking car. So I could actually Control Z. So let me see. Right now I'm over budget. So maybe okay, so I can afford to bump that back up. It looks like to $440 a month. Yeah, that seems reasonable. So I'm back to a zero-based budget. So you'll keep your monthly salary the same. You will include your savings using this formula, the salary times 20%. Remember to change this total right here because it's using a formula. So make sure that it's including this whole row. So it should say sum of, and then it's the column and the row. So C6 to C14 in my case. You might have more rows, you might have less rows. And so making this get back to 2,250 and then back to zero budget. Each day I'll post what your new challenge is. So you, like on Tuesday, you will have to type in month 2 and you'll bring this amount over. On Wednesday it'll be month 3, Thursday month 4, and Friday month 5. So look for the update for your life every day. Today's update is that you are doing 20% of your budget or of your income is going to save.